Hey, you're watching Jermaine Morgan TV, and I'm Jermaine Morgan, and today I want to answer a few questions, in particular some pretty common questions that I get here on the channel. And the first one I want to start with, I received a question. I won't call the name out, but I received a question. Hey Jermaine, I'm trying to learn the first intermediate lick, but I'm having trouble making it sound natural or less choppy. Any tips? My hammer-ons going up are tricky. Thanks in advance for the new vid as well. So yeah, I can answer that, and I can play that lick for everybody who's not familiar. This person is referring to one of the licks from the new 7 licks video. I'll put that link below or attach it to this video. But they're referring to one of the intermediate licks from the most recent video I put up with the 7 licks. So in that video, I played a lick. It's over this groove. So he was trying to basically figure out a way to make this lick not sound too choppy, and he said his hammer-ons going up were kind of giving him trouble. So what I did here, obviously that's built off like more of a minor pentatonic sound. Now the thing that's making mine sound, I guess, not choppy, if that's correct, what I'm understanding from the question, is I'm kind of barring over here with the pointer finger. I'm barring, or holding the note rather, because barring is more so like those 3 notes that we're going to use. And that keeps it from sounding so choppy, because now you're not doing. There is a difference now in holding that note out, and you can do pull-offs as well. That kind of keeps it sounding a little more natural instead of playing every note. Doing more pull-offs like hammer-ons. And most of you that have been here or been around for a while, you kind of probably noticed that a lot in my playing, I don't do a lot of, I can do it, but I don't do a lot of individual note playing for a specific reason, and that's because I like, when I'm playing certain licks and certain riffs, that kind of thing, I like for them to sound more natural, like a vocalist or like a saxophone player would play it, instead of everything being so percussive. Now there are moments when I am percussive and I do play individual notes out, but for the most part, a lot of my licks, for the style and the sound, my type of playing, the way that I approach bass, a lot of times I do a lot of pull-off type things and hammer-on stuff. Now I'm not going to spend too much time on this lick because I actually break it down on the 7 licks video. So if you want to really see it slowed down and all that kind of stuff, you can just head on over to that video and watch what I do and how I slow it down. But I really wanted to just kind of address it. So again, the thing that I'm doing that makes it sound more natural and not as choppy is I'm holding that first note down. My finger doesn't move off of that note. Now I'm kind of over exaggerating, letting the note ring just because I'm trying to make a point of what I'm doing, but hopefully you can kind of get the point of what I'm doing here. And it's almost, if you want to think about it in musical terms, like a horn instrument or something like that, it's almost as if I'm slurring the notes. It's more of a slurring effect, and slurring is meaning just kind of tying the notes together and letting the notes hang over until I get to the next note. And that's kind of what I'm doing here. So I'm really kind of connecting all of the notes instead of breaking them up like. record, there's nothing wrong with either way. Whatever you choose to do, whether you choose to like hold the notes over or whether you choose to play them shorter, that's totally up to you. There's no right or wrong way to do it. Just for the sake of the question that I was asked, slurring the notes is kind of become one of my signature things, I guess, that I do a lot in connecting the notes, because like I said, I'm going for that saxophone, that more vocal approach to singing, or making my instrument sound more like a vocal and making it sound more melodic when I'm playing, that kind of thing. So hopefully that answers your question. Now the next question I got, or the next comment that I got rather, was someone says, very nice, a few indications would be helpful, such as in which key mode do you play these licks? That would be great. All right, and so to this person, thank you. And thank you to pretty much all of you guys that comment on the videos. I do read 95, 98, 99% of the comments. I don't always get an opportunity to respond to a lot of the comments, but I will start responding to comments that are worth my response. Let me be clear when I say that. But yeah, with this kind of thing, and let me say this, and not necessarily addressing this particular question, but questions on comments that I get in particular. Now, I get a lot of comments from people who are here, ironically, people who are here on my videos learning. I get a lot of comments a lot of times from people telling me how I should do it, or how I should teach, or what's the best way, and it will probably be a good idea if you did this, as I appreciate constructive criticism. Now, let me say this from the standpoint of a professional who's been doing this for a while and who's been playing and getting hired for different gigs or leading different musical situations. Now, in most musical situations, people aren't going to wait for you to figure out if they're playing major or minor, or for you to figure out, okay, this is this type of mode. It's like people are not going to wait for you to do that. They're expecting you to know that when you show up to the gig. When you show up there ready to play, they're expecting you as a bass player to be tuned in. If there's a situation that you're reading music, that's great. But as most of you know, when you come to my lessons here on YouTube, I don't really deal a lot with reading music. It's more so on the strength of ear training. That's kind of where my strength is ear training. I grew up pretty much all my life playing by ear. There has been some musical background as far as teaching theory and all that type of stuff, but I don't really deal with that a lot. As most of you know, I'm not a really technical player. I've gave that disclaimer in a lot of my videos. However, I do know how to be technical. It's more on the strength of ear training. And one thing I want to just say to you guys who have the feedback for me, do understand that I emphasize more on the ear training. Now, if you can't hear certain things in terms of whether it's major or minor, that's something you need to be working on, being able to quickly recognize whether you're in a major or minor key. Because if you start gigging, if you start playing and you want to step out and do a little bit more stuff like solo or something, most gigs I've been on, I learned the bass line, and we at the live gig, if it's a gig that's open for solos, they call on me. They don't ask me, do you know if we're in major or minor? Do you know if this is going to be a pentatonic or a major scale you're going to play up? They don't ask me any of that. They just tell me, hey, take a solo. And it's like you either sink or swim. And so for me, it's become necessary for me in my private practice time to figure out when I listen to song, okay, what's going on here? And I want to say this to you guys, don't use YouTube and the instructors like myself, Derek Bennett, Scott's Bass Lesson, Yannick Wasdala. I mean, there's so many educators out here. Don't use us guys as a crutch for what you should be doing. And I'm saying that directly to you in love. Hopefully you don't receive it the wrong way and I don't get any hate emails. If I do, it's all good. But don't use this platform that we're giving this information to you. Don't use it as a crutch, because many of us guys didn't have that. We didn't have someone telling us exactly what this is specifically, unless we paid to go to some technical school or something like that. But most of us sat down, put the time in, put the work in to learn this information. So I say that to all of my people that are watching, all of the students who follow me, never use what I'm telling you or what any instructor is telling you as a crutch, or use that and then make excuses because you're not learning what you should learn based on what we're teaching on these videos. It's your responsibility to figure out what's going on, what key are we in, that type of thing. It's your responsibility to figure that out. So Again, I'm not trying to be harsh or anything like that. I'm just letting you guys know it's very, very important that as a musician, you put in the time, because we could do 50 licks. You know, we could do however many licks. We could break down, this is minor, this is major, pentatonic, whatever. But if you're not recognizing, because you're not listening for certain things, and yes, it's hard to figure out, but over time, the more songs you learn, the more you sit there and like practice that major and minor scale and understand which one is which, it's going to make sense to you when you hear songs. But it only happens through repetition of listening to the music and trying to apply the information that you know when you're listening. Because if you don't try to apply the information, it's not going to work. I guarantee you it's not going to work. So for that person, yeah, this song, the groove that I was playing on that licks video, all of them were in the minor mode. So yeah, these licks were built off minor. That's a minor pentatonic sound, so make sure that you're paying attention to the type of sound you're hearing so you can quickly identify what mode you're in, that kind of thing. And as far as the key, this works in any key. Any lick that I show you will work in any key. It's just a matter of if it's major or minor. And even if you're playing in a major key, if it goes to a minor, like most major keys do, like over the 6 or over the 2 or over whatever scale degree has the minor sound, it will work over that scale degree. So just a few tips, man. I hope this stuff helps you all. Not trying to be Mr. Get On to you, but I feel like it's necessary to say. So any other questions or comments you guys have, let me know, and I will try to address them as soon as I can. Thank you for watching today. I'm Jermaine. I'm out.